Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Del Rey. Today we're going to talk about Elianna's birth story. I totally said that I wanted to film this video before my second baby was born, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to achieve that goal. So let's get started. I'm almost due with baby number 2. I only have like 8 weeks left. 8 weeks, I think. And it's coming up so fast. We don't even have the nursery ready. Like, this whole move and everything has just been crazy. Elianna was born on April 3rd, 2017. And unfortunately, I went overdue and got induced. So I got induced on April 2nd at about 9 a.m. in the morning. She was actually due on March 26th. So yeah, 1 week overdue, and I had gone for 2 previous sweeps to try to get labor going naturally, and it just didn't work. At about 7 p.m. on April 2nd, I had to go back into the hospital to make sure that everything was good and just to see how I was feeling. And if anything was obviously happening, which it wasn't. They offered me, or no, I was kind of having some contractions, very, very little, by that time, by 7 p.m. And so they offered me morphine so that I could go home and sleep, and hopefully labor would start sometime during the night or the next day. So I accepted the morphine. I kind of regret accepting it. I wish I would have just not. So we go home and we go to bed. I was all like loopy, obviously, while going to bed from this morphine. I wake up at about, I think it was 4:50 in the morning, and I had gone to the bathroom and lost, it's so gross, lost my mucus plug, and started having pretty regular contractions that were hurting. So got dressed, ended up eating breakfast before I went because I knew that I wouldn't be able to eat while I was at the hospital, which totally sucks. Because if you're in for a long labor, you're basically not eating for that amount of time until you're done. And then we went to the hospital, went to the triage room, and they checked me, and I think I was about 2 or 3 centimeters by the time they checked me. And you guys, this pain was so unbearable. Being induced and like the pain that you feel, it's, from what I've heard, it's obviously it's way stronger. It comes on way faster. Your body doesn't have a chance to really get used to the contractions as it normally would if you went into regular labor naturally. And so they came hard and fast. And then a couple hours go by, or like an hour or 2, and then the doctor said that she was gonna break my water. And by this time I was already like on the laughing gas. I wanted all the drugs in the world. Like, it hurt so bad. And I like to think that I'm very that I have like a high pain tolerance, but after that I don't think I do. But maybe it's just because I was scared and I just didn't really understand how the process was gonna go, and everything was just crazy, and everybody was, you know, my mom was kind of freaking out because like she didn't want to see me in pain, and she didn't know how to like comfort me and whatever else. So I was on laughing gas when they broke my water, and I must have been having a contraction like right at that time, because oh my god, the pain was so bad. Like, I was like in agony, and the doctor kind of looked at me like, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And I'm like, it hurts. Like, it's fine, but it hurts. Like, it just hurts. I don't know if I was going through a contraction or not. But it was so bad. Oh my god. So finally, the water was broken, and it was the weirdest feeling. Like, if you're laying on a bed, like, imagine basically peeing yourself. It's just like, it feels so weird. It's just warm and like, it's just weird, okay? So finally we get a room, we go in, and I'm laboring in the shower for a little bit. You know, Chris is trying to like put water on my back, trying to like help me through this, and I'm just dying, like just dying. It was the worst. I was, I think, like 3 or 4 centimeters at this point, and I was begging, like begging and pleading and begging and pleading for that epidural. And I wanted to do an all-natural labor, and that just didn't happen. So finally the anesthesiologist, I don't know, are they anesthesiologists? The person who puts in the frickin' epidural, he comes in, and I did not like him. He was so like pushy and just awful. He didn't seem to care about how I was feeling, or if I was going through a contraction, or if I thought I was dying. He did not care. He was like, basically sit up and bend forward and let's get this going. And I'm just like, you know I pleaded for it, and I know I was begging for it, but you don't need to be rude. Like, I'm already going through a lot right now. Like, frick, seriously, I was so pissed off. The epidural was in, and everything was starting to feel better, but I could still feel some contractions on my left side, which sucked, but you know what? It was better than feeling all of the pain. Tried to sleep a little bit, and I got a little bit of sleep, and periodically they would come in and check me, you know, and I wasn't progressing that much because I was basically stuck on a bed. And I remember I was like so drugged up because I got another shot of morphine too. So I was like drugged up on like laughing gas, morphine, epidural. Like, I was just like messed right up. Sorry, excuse me. I'm so tired. My child didn't sleep very well last night. Anyways, I labored the whole day, and then I ended up getting a fever. So I had an infection of some sort, and they had no idea what it was. Baby's heart rate was skyrocketing. It was at like 190, and I was freaking out because you can obviously hear and see the baby's heart rate on the monitor, and I was freaking out. Like, I'm like, what if she's in distress? Like, what's going on? Like, she obviously has the infection too. So I was kind of like, I don't know. I was really scared at this point. I was just sweating, like they were putting cold cloths all over me. They didn't know, so they started a round of antibiotics in the IV. It seemed to go away. And then I progressed to 8 centimeters, and she was apparently stuck. You can imagine how disheartened I was at that point when they said that I wasn't progressing anymore. And I forget what time this was at. This was probably at like, must have been like 10 o'clock or something. So the doctor recommended, okay, well, we're gonna try to push her up so that maybe she could realign her head and come down. So they tried. And we waited an hour, and she didn't come down any further. We got to do an emergency C-section. I was not impressed. Although I was not impressed, it probably was the best and safest thing for baby. But just really disappointing for me, and you know, just really disappointing. I just was very sad. They prepped me for a C-section, and we went in there at 11:30, I think, or well, probably like 11:15. They took the epidural out, they put a spinal tap in, and I was frozen all the way from like basically my shoulders down, and I couldn't feel anything, and I was a little bit scared. It's like a little bit of a weird, scary feeling that you can't feel your body at all. With the epidural, you can feel your body a little bit, whereas like this spinal tap, you cannot move, like, at all. So then I guess they brought Chris in and started the C-section, and then she was born at 11:38 p.m. on April 3rd, and it was the happiest day of my life. I was so emotional, such a wreck. After all of that, it just felt like very traumatic to me, and I'm not really happy about the whole thing, but it is what it is. So the only thing that I can do for this pregnancy is really try to let my body do whatever it has to do naturally. If they tell me that they need to induce me, I would like to decline, because obviously your body knows what it's gonna, like, what it's supposed to do. Not to say that medical intervention is bad, but I would like to have a natural delivery this time, and I am going for a VBAC. So wish me luck, and let me know in the comments down below how your first birth was, and what you wish you could change, and what made you happy about that birth. I was obviously happy that my child was healthy and okay.
It's a good cry. It's a great sound, isn't it? It's a great sound. Did a good job, Del Rey. You did a great job. You did. Oxytocin is running. She looks like a good prize. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Thank you guys for listening to Elianna's birth story, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Del Rey Lucretia. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.